You can go whenever you're ready.
My name is Mark Borsma, president of Synergy Solutions, and so we're going to have I think a speed coffee connection today in going through. I was working with a mentoring group, online mentoring group, last night, and Patrick with Tanglewood Conservatories, he's got an amazing coffee connection out in Maryland, and he said that what he's finding is that people don't know the steps to take, and then when they do know the steps to take, they don't take the steps. They become overwhelmed. And so I've noticed this, to where it's like people are like, I'm confused, I don't know what to do. And then you say, okay, do these things, and they say, I'm now overwhelmed. And it's like, what? Why are you overwhelmed? And so it's almost like people will do everything they possibly can to avoid taking action on doing things that actually will, change their life. So Ed, how much have you given it thought to my challenge from last week?
What challenge was that?
Okay.
Not a good start, right?
So not a good start. And so it's not a good start. So my challenge. So does anybody know why Ed? Why Ed wasn't thinking about my challenge?
It wasn't his type of friend.
Was it even probably these were going on last week?
Right, so Ed doesn't realize how much it's costing him. So Ed has the same challenge I do, but Ed's not aware of how much it's costing him to have that challenge.
Is that getting people driven to do things?
It is. It's driving people through. Way to go! Yeah.
I don't know, you did pretty good last week. All my things you asked me to do last week, I did, I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
Connect with Manny, push, you had to push it through a couple times on some of them, but I had them all written down last week.
Good.
So,
We hired Eddie to start putting my team together.
Right.
Were you his client?
No.
Oh.
Life Masteries is.
Oh, okay.
That's very important. If your kids have you as a client, sometimes they don't treat you as well as they would an outside client.
But he doesn't know that, right?
Well, it's video, it's recorded, I'm sure you might see it, so no.
sometimes they treat you better.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they do.
Well, if he doesn't treat his client well, Life Mastery will not treat.
Sometimes they think they do.
I noticed how you guys are early today to set up.
Wow. Wow.
You
So
are doing the impression.
That's not the express. He did the amiable expressive. The passive aggressive. Like there was something in the Tribune, and a guy went in the business section yesterday about how passive aggressive isn't good. I'm like, I need to get a team that will get me published. So years ago, Mike Coutura, his mom's a nurse, and I got published in some nursing magazine on personalities.
Okay.
And so
He's taking all the personality things to all his teachers.
I mean, is he?
He is.
So Rosanna and and Nancy made mistakes yesterday on the Awesome Women call.
We did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. What did we make a mistake on?
Well, I'm really surprised because I don't know of any other woman on the planet. I mean, this was hugely shocking to me because Nancy was not as sensitive as she really needed to be for the benefit of the group.
Okay.
And that's just so unusual, women not being sensitive. It's like, what? Why do I get it?
Let it be known that men are not sensitive to women not being sensitive.
Ooh, there's a Pete thought there.
Oh, no, it's not. She didn't mean to say that.
Trina
She did
was
not
wrong.
mean to say that. She didn't know what she said.
I know exactly what I
No, you
said.
don't. What did you
I
say?
said that you are not sensitive to the fact that we're not sensitive.
Right. So,
Right.
so women are insensitive and men aren't aware of it. That's what you said.
Women are allowed to do that.
Men aren't aware of it. Men are aware of women's lack of sensitivity. That's
No,
what you said.
No, I said,
No,
let
that
it
is-
be known that men are not sensitive.
Right, to women's lack of sensitivity. That's
Get
what you
out
said.
of here. Quiet. And this is what I'm talking about right here. You really want that out on
So-
the screen.
So, Nancy was missing key data. Another thing about, like, all the women in your life should be on that call. Seriously. Because it's so,
Given Marie Tour wants to get fired.
Okay, we
I
have
think that could be
Katrina
easier.
and Liliana, Tony, Elise, I think is getting back on. Ginger Ann's supposed to join us. Jill, I don't know if she responded.
okay. So we were having a conversation pre-event, and I was talking to Ed and Rosanna about how I think that they're too nice and giving to people, and they don't. They're always making excuses for people. And Ed said, "Well, that's good at times. In theory, that's true."
I make excuses for you. Is that good at times too?
I don't know. So Nancy was not as sensitive as she could have been. It would have been a beneficial group, but she was missing key data. Rosanna gave too much information and overwhelmed people, rather than here's one step. So here's the one step that you need to do. So if you give them a whole bunch of steps rather than one step, and then if they want more than one step, which most people do, minimum, sometimes you don't give them. So you say, you do one step, and then I'll go ahead and give you another step.
So you treat them like children.
Pretty much. So this month, we're focused on discovering your life vision, living it every single day, and then connecting all of our life visions together. And so there's been nobody, to my knowledge, that has stepped up to drive that through. So Michael, I was hoping to have him drive that through.
What did he get today?
What's that?
What did he get today?
He said he was gonna, I talked to him yesterday, he said he was gonna be here.
I texted.
He was planning it.
They got double team fast.
So all of us, so is it easier to make 3 calls a week for 15 minutes?
Depends.
So I think 3 calls a week. So all of us need to make 3 calls on Mondays for Tuesday's coffee connection.
They have to be called.
I think so. I think they
How
have
was
to
you
be
gonna do it?
calls.
Unless you're gonna stop in person?
Well, email,
I text people.
text or email.
I did email people yesterday.
Email's worthless.
Well,
Almost worthless.
Well, I I got someone that might start. I could get them to maybe join live. But I could ask the question for them.
Okay.
And send them the video.
Absolutely.
I have someone that called me yesterday and was asking me about personality stuff and stuff. They have a client, very difficult client to work with, not doing what the client needs to do to get the results they want to achieve. Not following through on stuff, but if they don't follow through, it makes them look bad. So they wanted to know, at what point do I drop clients? Which, what point do I drop people? Probably not the best question. I'm like, maybe I should ask someone who's a little more patient with people, but what point or how do you push someone that just doesn't want to do what they need to do?
Well, and that's where if the client's familiar with frequencies, and so I think frequencies are better than personalities because people are not used to frequencies. If you say personalities, they're like, oh, I know for personalities. It's like, well, you actually don't. You can't tell people that because they think they do. The frequencies are a different twist. It's a different twist on personalities. It's an enhancement. And so if you educate your clients on the frequencies, then they become self-aware, and then somebody else can teach them a video like the mobile app or online, or somebody you doing a 30-minute on the client, or somebody doing, Elise doing a 30-minute on the client. So somehow helping the client understand the different frequencies. And so I think that I was just talking to another business owner yesterday, and they're a new business owner, and they're struggling in making phone calls. And I'm like, you can send out all the emails you want, you can do all this stuff, but the phone calls until you get the systems, like that's where your video, like MVP, that's where your video, I think, is going to be a game changer. And because the video, I believe, will get people to call you, and it's a whole lot easier when somebody calls you than it is when you're calling out. But when you first start your own business, you have to make outbound calls. And so the frequency, that will help the client. It's educating the client in their own blind spots, and once they're educated in their own blind spots,
so maybe get the person and her client, and then me and you or someone on a call, and
I mean, that's the fastest to do a free 30-minute through Legacy Partners. There's no cost. It's a gift. It's, so you do, and then you could learn how to do the 30-minute. She can learn how to do the 30-minute.
So we're looking for the 30-minute questions to ask. I'm like, well, go on my fitness was for fitness stuff.
Okay.
And I'm like, go on my fitness website. All the questions are there, but they didn't know how to ask them, so they called me asking how to ask them. I was like, we'll have to get them on there, but.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you can send them to, if you ask the biggest challenge, so the first step is, what's the biggest challenge you're facing in any area of your business? Once you ask that question, then the next question is, or the next thing you often do is go, I might know somebody that might have some input into that. Let me see if I can schedule a phone call, a short phone call. So biggest challenge, build a conceptual bridge, do the 30-minute. And the 30 minutes sold, doing the 30 minutes sold because you have the biggest challenge that's there.
Well, I got her interested in doing a 30-minute with you, but I didn't think about having the client do it too. So
yeah, either way, I mean, and so that's the fastest. That is the fastest way to do it. Now, there's other ways to do it. Like you could, if she could ask the questions, and then you could point it to videos and stuff like that. And so it can be done online, it can be done manual, and being able to go through it. And so three phone calls a day, or 3 phone calls on Monday to promote the Coffee Connection.
Okay, we have, Danny Trevor, say hi.
Hey, Danny. Hey, Trevor, buddy.
Do you know Rebecca was is in a health and fitness?
Yeah.
How can you turn connections?
So, I was hoping just to ask the question in general relative terms, so I could cut that part out and send that to her.
Right.
And then let her know. I was gonna send her the fitness frequency card too, so I talked to her about that, and then do that she is for coaching and stuff like that, fitness coaching and
Right.
all sorts of other stuff. So
Right. So you could set you know, because businesses like they're Box 28, which is what we're doing with the recruiting website for Tanglewood, new products and services. And so Box 28 is brutally hard to come up with new products and services. Not very many people on the planet know how to do it. It's very costly, a lot of experience, a lot of money, a lot of resources go into it. And so that's where, like a franchise, so 97% of businesses will fail within the first 7 years. Like 99% of franchises will succeed. Why? Because they have a system. You don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel. So she might be interested in becoming a legacy partner with your help and assistance, because then it's another product line. And so legacy partners have a whole bunch of product lines that, that all kinds of businesses can make money on. So yes, you can get somebody's biggest challenge, bring it here. We address it because she's not the only one that has that challenge. Every business does, and that is beneficial to everybody. So, are you willing to make, 3 phone calls on Monday for Coffee Connection on Tuesday? Yes. Okay. Is that a goal or a commitment? Wow. Okay. I will do 3. I will do 3, and I will go ahead and make a commitment. Not a goal, but a commitment to do it. Ed, 3 on Monday.
There's a goal. Monday's the worst day of the week for me to make phone calls.
So if I was you or Rosanna, I'd say totally understand Mondays are really, really tough. So is that the time to go easy on you?
Yeah, because usually I try even not to schedule things on Mondays just because Mondays are so crazy.
So,
I'll change mine to a commitment. That's fine, Ed. That means you have to too. 3 calls. That means just invite them to the Coffee Connection, not chit chat with them.
I think we need to have Eddie make those calls.
See, so Ed's doing delegate, systematize, contract out, hire someone, or partner with someone. So that's pretty sharp.
And Eddie would be much cuter at it than me, so you get much more.
Well, actually,
in that case, then I'm hiring him to do a better job than I would.
So,
wait, we got that real quick.
Well, if I was you or Rosanna, the answer is yes, but she's already committed, so she can't go back on
Commit
that.
you.
Okay. You need to do it. You don't. It's not going to take you any additional time. All you have to do is be aware, because you're talking to people. So all you got to do is be aware and just insert that in and say, "Oh, by the way." So it's not like other people aren't talking to people. You're talking to people. You just have so much you're talking to them about. Just Mondays, you need to say, okay, I need to be cognizant of Coffee Connections.
No, yesterday I was doing emails all day because my emails was crapping out.
Okay, so 3, not Eddie. 3, and is that a commitment or a goal?
I bet Eddie would be a lot better at it though.
No, it's both of you. It's like a father-son activity.
Eddie's not at my house on Mondays.
You don't have to do it together. So we'll get Eddie to do it. But who's going to drive that through? So,
Your grandsons are eating breakfast.
Danny, Trevor, buddy, Grandpa loves you. See, I wonder if Danny could start his own company, and so so it's impressive that a 13-year-old teenage boy would do it. But if Danny called Eddie, so Tony's question is, how do you turn Coffee Connections into a money-making machine?
You gotta have a product to sell.
So you have to have a
Service.
product. You have to have a product, some product or service to sell. So that's one thing. What's another thing that we need to do to turn Coffee Connections into a money-making machine?
Get people to see the people that are actually on the Coffee Connections are succeeding.
So there's a high probability that nobody heard you on that.
Okay, get people to see that the people that are on the Coffee Connections are succeeding.
Okay, so you've got to attract people to the Coffee Connections. One way to do that is to share the success stories. So you have to have a product or service, but then you have to have a system to drive people into the sales funnel. And so if everybody does 3 phone calls, a week, all of a sudden we've got, I don't know what there are, 7, 8 people, so that you have 21 phone calls a week being done at a minimum.
So you're going to ask the people on the live stream if they're willing to make the 3 calls?
Right. Or you can just do it. So if you're on the live, or if you're listening to the rebroadcast of this, go ahead and text the number. You got the number that they need to text, Jonathan, or not? So, all right. So Ed's going to do it, and it's a commitment.
Sure.
All right, Jonathan, 3 calls a week.
Mondays,
Yep.
commitment.
All right. Cool. All right. So, Ginger Ann, Jill, hopefully watching this. Michael, hopefully engaged. Ginger Ann, Tony, Elise. I don't know who else might be on. So text if you're going to commit to 3 calls on Monday, 3 phone calls on Monday promoting this Coffee Connection, and it can be anywhere on the planet. I mean, if they have internet connection, they can tap in, to this, or they can participate live with us here today. So either one of those are fine. So who's going to drive
You said she'll try.
Katrina said she'll try. So Katrina and everybody else, because Jill said she was going to try to be on, from Florida too.
She's not on thing.
And so, so Katrina in Star Wars, Luke went ahead and said to Yoda, I'm going to try to move this whatever ship.
Elise says she'll commit.
Nice, Elise. Elise is committed. So Yoda said to Luke, Luke, there's no try, there's do or do not. So Tom Kuntz, that was one of his favorite sayings. There's no try, there's do or do not.
Tony says yes.
Tony says yes. Okay, cool. So what we need somebody who's going to drive through. We're going to need somebody who's going to drive through the life vision, getting everybody's life vision, and then getting it into MVP to get it up on the screen, and so everybody can see one another's life visions and their passions. So often when you ask for volunteers, what happens when you say, okay, who's going to drive that through? What often happens? Somebody usually volunteers, but who is it the person who typically volunteers? So why does the firstborn tend to often be more responsible, the analytic level 2 frequency, than the rest of the children.
Because he's got to take care of his whole life.
Right, and he or she had lazy parents. Because what the parents do is the parents train the first one, and the first one's always a year, 2 years, whatever, ahead of the second one. And so it's always easiest for the parent to dish the firstborn all this responsibility. So for Ginger Ann, who's our oldest daughter, she has Danny, who's 4, our grandson, Trevor, who's 2, our grandson. And then, did you know Ginger Ann's pregnant with twins? Okay.
I don't know about twins, but she's pregnant.
Yeah, so Ginger Ann's pregnant with twins, so she's going to have 4 under the age of 5. So what she's doing is she's trying to get out in front of that situation, and she's trying to get out in front of that situation, and how do you get the boys ramped up where they're going to be more productive? Because you got to get them more productive if you're going to have, twin babies. And so the tendency, Ginger Ann, would be for you to have Danny do more and more stuff. And then, because it's easier, because he's more skilled, he's more developed, he's got all of those things. And then Trevor will start to kind of fall behind, or Trevor will become resentful, like his older brother gets all of the whatever. So often the person who first volunteers for something is not the one that should actually have it. And so
I learned that because I'm the firstborn and I didn't volunteer.
So
I was just waiting for someone else.
Right, so somebody else, typically the one who volunteers is the best at driving something through. And so they're gaining more skills. So I learned this in the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And so in that great book, Tipping Point and Outliers, 2 of the best books I've ever read. And then David and Goliath, same thing. And so, I think it's like 70-80% of the professional hockey players from Canada are born in October, November, December. Why?
Because they're put in school a year later because of their birthdays.
That's right. So they're
older than the other kids in the class.
Right. So they're older than the other kids in the class, so they're more developed skill-wise. And so what they do is they tend to excel right away. And when somebody excels in sports, what do they get to do? They get to play more. When you play more, you get better, and then you get put on better and better teams. So somebody who is a professional hockey player may not be the best one. They just got, because of when they were born, they got opportunities that others did not get. So what's going to happen is the people who are the strongest will go ahead and step up, and all they do is they get better. So in cloning us, now Williamson with Compass Mortgage, he said to me a number of years ago, he said, Mark, you have great employees. They're hard worker, they're disciplined, they're loyal. None of them are anything close to what you are. And so, how do you go ahead and you have to develop people on the little things. So if somebody doesn't know how to drive this forward, they're not going to be able to drive a multi-million-dollar real estate complex. If people, like if Jill or Michael or anybody else in Renatus, anybody else working with Ed, if you can't be consistent in a coffee connection, or you can't be consistent in following through on assignments, if you can't be consistent in doing things you don't like to do, if you can't be consistent because your life is so busy, you're probably not going to make a good, partner for Ed in real estate. So who's going to drive that forward? And so, who's going to do that? Because that's this month's goal, is to drive the life vision forward. Okay. All right. So we're just about ready to wrap it up. So who's going to do that? If you're online, text Rosanna. Danny and Trevor just asked how they can be the best helper for mommy with the baby. Danny is asking to participate, and Trevor agreed on the question. So, in teaching your sons, or teaching employees, or teaching partners how to drive things through, it's just like you do at home. So when my sons are, I don't know, 8, 9 years old, I need to drive them to do the lawn. Like, you have to do the lawn. Here's how you do the lawn. You got to do it. You remind them and that type of thing. But when they're 15 years old, you know what? I shouldn't have to ask you to do the lawn. You should just do it. Just do it. You see it and then you do it. You take initiative. And so, I would say, Ginger Ann, if they start their own company, they're going to have to go ahead. And Danny's already a co-author of a book, How to Be the Best Student in the World. Last night on the 6 o'clock call, a gentleman who's a veteran, really smart guy, owns his own company out in Maryland. He said he read that book and he said he would recommend every single person reading it. How to Be the Best Student in the World. So if you got Danny and Trevor to step up and say, I'm going to drive this through, if they learn how to do that, that teaches them how to take initiative, and they'll be better older brothers. And they'll earn some money too. So.
Okay, I'll send out an email to everybody to get the responses.
I don't think anybody, I don't know if we're just talking about me or everybody.
I was going to have you do because you're speaking. So an email going out to everyone that they made their calls and that they respond to me, and that way I can put that out as a...
Okay, so you're driving through on accountability for the 3 calls. Okay, so Rosanna's got that. Who's going to drive the life vision and the passion circles and getting that up on the website? Does anybody? So leader, do you just wait until it becomes more and more uncomfortable? Or do I just take what Ginger Ann and Danny and Trevor said and say, oh, look at that, volunteer?
What? Just volunteer somebody?
No, they volunteered themselves. All right. So Danny, Trevor, congratulations, buddy. You guys got your first client, and so you guys can make some money, gain some skills to be better big brothers, help mom out more, and there'll be lots of people. And then you can work with Uncle John on getting those up onto the website, and then you can impact, you can work with, Nancy and Alan. I mean, there's lots of different people that you'll be able to drive this forward. Okay, Jonathan's going to put up how to go ahead and get the special gift offer. Anybody else have anything else you want to accomplish?
Well, Tony did hear the question. She texted.
Okay, so Tony, you can work with Danny and Trevor on that and assist them in making sure that gets done. And then the next piece, once we get them all up, then how does everybody help everybody else? And so there's people I'm talking to that are prospects for my company, but they're not going to turn into sales. But they could turn into sales for Jonathan's company, or they could turn into sales for Ed's company. If they turn into sales for Jonathan or Ed's company, then it's triangulation selling. then they can help to sell me. So when you get multiple people all interconnecting, that's very, very powerful. All right, very good. Anybody else have anything else? All right, Jonathan, you can close it down and put the special gift offer up, that type of thing. And then I think Kevin's, we're done. Thanks, everyone. Bye.